right, welcome back to the... Welcome back to another episode of Operation C.M.G, the podcast that covers comics, movies, and games. I'm your host, Dustin.
And I'm Jacob.
I'm Juice.
And today is another day on the pod with the boys. And we got some after-action Call of Duty Warzone reaction. We talked about that last week because it was the day before it came out, so we are just giving you a bunch of escalation, a bunch of speculations and things we wanted to see. We're just talk a little bit about that, and then we're gonna give our review. We went and we somehow dodged the corona and went to watch Bloodshot in the theater. The theater was empty.
We had 3 people.
What, 10 counting us?
If that.
Yeah.
It was pretty empty in there. But
Maybe the middle got their prices soon.
I doubt it. Call of Duty Warzone. Battle Royale. 2 modes, Battle Royale and Plunder. Thoughts, reactions?
It does not feel like just another Battle Royale game. This is one of my favorite Battle Royales. I've still been playing a lot of Apex because Apex feels a lot more competitive, and I like competitive games. This Warzone feels a lot more of an enjoyable, non-competitive Battle Royale, especially because of all the mini missions that you have.
The contracts and stuff.
The contracts.
Yeah.
Which get me in trouble when I play with you guys. Most of the time when I'm playing with just 2 other randoms, I go do a contract, they follow up. Yeah. We're on 2 different wavelengths.
Unless we're playing Plunder, I don't need the cash.
Do what?
Unless we're playing Plunder, I don't need the cash to do contracts.
You need it for other stuff, though.
Yeah.
But I can pick that up off killing people.
No, I mean, the only reason I was able to pick you guys up last night was because I had 3 contracts completed at that time.
I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't feel like it's not a necessity towards.
No,
Warzone.
you don't. No. I mean,
like,
you can win without doing contracts.
Yeah.
That's not a but it's just if you want to get perks and you want to do loadouts and then you need to be any money.
And for me, it's just enjoyable to do that because it's so large. The bad side of Warzone is it feels slow for the first half of the game a lot of the time, and then the second half is just constantly on your toes, more so than other battle royales. But other than that, I like it just because it gives you something to do as you're waiting on circle to close up small enough.
Not just sitting there camping.
Yeah.
So pretty much we got the Battle Royale is the Battle Royale. You got 150 players go in, last one to survive. You get 1 free chance to redeploy. You get, and then you can, or not redeploy, respawn, and then after that you have to be brought back with your teammates. The second mode's Plunder, and it's played on the ground on the Battle Royale map, but it is you respawn every time, and it's a like a cash grab system.
Kill people.
Take the money that they have. The top 3 people with the most money are always highlighted on the map.
It's an exfil game mode.
Yeah, and it's I think I'm the only person who doesn't like that game mode.
I think so, but how many times have you played it? Just the one?
I mean the one time that we played, but we played a couple matches.
Yeah. No, I actually really like it, especially because that game mode is a lot more action packed.
You know what?
Because
I've been in the top 5 pretty much every time except the first day when I played with you. When I found out how it works, because I'm the kind of guy that likes to do the side quests, that likes to do the missions, and I collect all the boxes, and since I know where a majority of them are, by the time the first go around where it starts telling you where people are, I'm sitting on $400,000, and it's like, oh, you're number 1 or 2, and so it's like, boom, everybody comes to me, and I have to stay alive for another 5 minutes before a piggy bank shows up, and I'm like, it's do or die now.
I find it I don't know, just playing it for me personally, that game mode, it just got boring.
I would say if you're not top 5 or top 4, and you're not looking for fights, definitely fucking boring. If like you turn out to be like a top 3 team, it's just fucking it's nonstop fucking action.
If you're in first, without a doubt,
dude, yeah.
If you're in first and you go to one of the extraction zones,
dude, they are everywhere.
You will not go 10 seconds without somebody trying to kill you. Just fuck you up, and that is so much fun.
I reached the point where I could.
But you can also go
armor plate back up. I didn't have fucking time. I'd put one in another fucking team. We'd have to kill them, and then I go to fucking 1 armor plate, 2 armor plate, another fucking team shooting. It was just fucking constant.
Yeah, I guess
it's tailored more, in my opinion. Plunder is tailored more towards people who are like good at the Call of Duty genre and who play first person shooters really well. That you could just drop in and just keep getting kills and just wind up winning. There's games where I jump in and I've looted everything and I've killed a couple teams and I'm only at $200,000, and then the freaking first team is damn near over $1 million or damn near over 700,000. They're just that far up from just dropping in hot places and just killing people left and right.
Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely give another couple playthroughs and see how it is, but for the main reason we're all here is for the Battle Royale.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is fucking phenomenal, man. That is like, it's so much fun. It's so this is the first Battle Royale I think that you spawn with at least one weapon.
Yeah,
you spawn with
that
a pistol.
You can use before you even land.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You get, if you're familiar with the Call of Duty, how it works is you pick up guns in just like any other Battle Royale that has a tier system weapons. So you got common, rare, epic, legendary.
And it's, from what I can gather, it's common or uncommon, common, and then they add mods onto the weapon every time it goes up.
Yeah, so you can get, and they're all the blueprint weapons from the store that you can buy. The coolest thing about it is that you can get a loadout drop and you can pick one of your loadouts from multiplayer and bring it into the game. So
that comes with your fucking lethal,
and that's the only way to get perks as well.
Perks. It's whatever your fucking loadout is. That's what it is. Yep. Every time you fucking pick it.
Perks are changed. Some perks are changed, but
it tells you
it's for the better for the battle.
It's really, it's pretty much like you need to dedicate a class to Warzone because not just your regular class ain't gonna work.
No, I had a class that ran Point Man, and it tells you that. And I was gonna change it, but upon reading it, because Point Man, it changes your kills for kill streaks to just points, and you earn kill streaks that way. Well, I was like, all right, I'm gonna change it, and then I seen it was like multiplayer only, and it's the regular way it is, and then it says Warzone only, and it says like it increases your chance of finding a kill streak in a chest. So like they change certain things, certain perks to tailor it more towards.
Yeah, because kill streaks are items you pick up, and they're not rewards for killing.
Yeah.
The whole thing's got a cash-based system, so when you kill people, they drop cash. You get small amounts of random cash, like as floor loot, and then you can get them at a chest. You use cash to revive teammates, to get armor packs, which is this version of shield. I like your health
like Call of Duty.
Your health auto regens. I love that, and I love the fact one thing that this game and like Fortnite kind of have a good thing that I like that about over Apex is that everyone has a limited amount of shield.
Yes.
Everyone has the same amount of shield because in Apex you can find better shields.
Yeah. Which
is so damn annoying.
You could drop in and literally you could, if you pick up a purple shield and you can punch somebody, you can win that fight if they have no shield and they pick up a top tier weapon. So yeah, everyone drops in with 100 or 200 health because you have every shield is 50 additional health, and you start off with 2 shields. You're missing one, which is they're really common, really easy to
find.
But I love the fact that it's capped at 5.
Yes,
I can't cap it to holding 5.
You can hold 5. You can have 3 on you at a time.
If I go fighting, let's say me and you were fighting, I know that like if I have max shields at 5 and I'm at max at 3 bars already, I know that, like, at the worst case scenario, you got the same thing I got. I crack your shield once, you haven't touched me, I know that you got 2 shields and that you're probably filling up, the bars again. And I know how many you got, I can kind of pinpoint where I've got you at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Fortnite where I don't know if this man's carrying a scar and fucking a whole row of fucking shields.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it makes the battles more intense, because if I don't push you now, your health is going to regen. And if I don't have shield and you don't have shield, I know I've got you low. If I don't push you in the next 10 seconds, probably not even that, we're both at full health and it's going to be another battle again.
Yeah. So the animation of that's phenomenal too, because it's all
Yeah.
it's real armor plates like you use in war. And you see him, he takes his strap off and he puts armor plates into it. It's like his
and it's not choppy.
No, it's fluid as fuck.
It's
yeah.
like, ugh.
He just fucking throws the gun, like if you're carrying an AR, he fucking throws it like it's on a strap. He kind of throws it down, flips it open, puts them in, fucking straps it back, reaches around, grabs it. It's fluent as hell.
This movie's of course got vehicles. You can drive helicopters.
Yeah, helicopters.
Justin's not allowed to fly anymore.
Oh.
They got 4-wheelers, these like ATV
I only killed
buggy
myself.
things.
You live somehow.
Because I jumped off.
He bailed out, and I was like, why is Justin not jumping out? It's like, why is he going to the ground really fast?
And there's other like trucks and big semi trucks and random stuff you can drive like that.
The semi trucks I love because you don't have to. If you sit in the passenger seat, you don't have to run up to it and hold, like, for us, a whole square to get in the truck. You just jump in the fucking back and it carries you the whole time. So you
I was standing on top of the thing.
Oh,
I was standing on top of the thing, so he was driving.
I jumped in the back, and I was like,
you were in the
all right,
back,
Dustin's in the
and
passenger
I'm
seat, I guess.
standing on
I
top.
literally just see him crawl up top, and he's just standing there with his sniper. And
But
he's
see,
just
I
like,
love that.
I'll
Because,
let you know if I find anything. I was like, that's what I need.
Any other game that has vehicles like that, you jump on top like that, you have a
fall
chance
off.
of falling off.
Yeah.
And like it works so fluidly, it's almost like it's its own space when it's
Yeah.
driving, and that you can't actually fall off unless you jump out. So I can run across the back of the bed of the truck and just move back and forth.
But it's not a thing you have to press a button to get it in and out. Too.
No,
It's
you
just like
just
once you're
mantle
on
up
it,
over,
you're
yeah.
on it.
Which that works really fluent though, surprisingly.
The coolest thing, this thing that gets everybody is the gulag.
Best Battle
Phenomenal-
Royale feature
Phenomenal
ever
fucking feature.
So
invented
That's a
for
great
Battle
mechanic.
Royale.
the
It's a great
1v
mechanic.
the 1v1 gunfight, we have the first time you die, everyone gets a chance. It's capped at like
Top 15 teams or something around there.
it may even be top 20 teams, I think.
It may be.
And it tells you too, like once you get towards the top, it tells you when the gulag's shutting down. It gives you a time.
Oh, it does.
Well, yeah,
I
it
haven't
tells you.
noticed that. I'm always focused on other stuff.
But if you die, you get sent into the gulag, and you get play against another random person. It's never your squad mates, but another random person who died, and you do a 1v1 gunfight to the death, and whoever wins gets sent back.
Exclusive to pistols and shotguns.
Yeah.
So you're either going to have a shotgun or a pistol.
The best thing that I found about it was playing with you guys last night. It just kind of hit me when I went to the gulag showers. Right, you die the first time you go to the gulag showers. When I'm in there fighting, I had lost a 1v1. Shocker, but I had lost a 1v1. And at the end of it, if you actually listen to what he says, this all makes sense. The money system kind of makes sense because he says, you lost it, you're staying here. Your teammates can buy you out, meaning that you're basically paying my fucking bail for me to get out of the showers. So it makes the $4,500 like to bring me back in the game is you're paying for my release, is what he says. So you're paying for my release from gulag showers.
I think the most like craziest thing is that like say if there's 20 people who die at the same time, 2 people will fight, and the other 18 people are all above and get to watch them fight.
You can throw rocks for 1 health.
Yeah.
You just pink.
Now, I do think that there's multiple sets of gulags.
There is.
I think it's more like a server thing.
Because there are times where
there
it's
are
like
multiple fights going on.
you'll see like 20 people die, and it's like you're the third in line. I'm like, that doesn't add up. So,
Something's not right here.
but you're always in the same one as your teammates. So if you and all your teammates die at the same time,
You're in that
all
same
of you will be in that same
server.
gulag. Yeah,
It's
server.
like a gulag server.
Is kind of what it is, and you're all going to be in that same location. You can throw rocks to give away position, but if you also land it, it does small damage, but it does do
1 damage.
yeah.
It also like blurs their vision.
When you hit them, it goes like...
Oh, and it
blurs
sucks
and
because if the other... I had it happen to me. I landed the first shot, and all of a sudden I got pelted by like rocks, and it was literally just 1, 2, 3, and it was like I can't aim for shit.
The mechanic behind that makes it great too, because like if you play in like 1v1s or like 2v2 gunfights like I do, I don't push unless my teammate wants to push. So in 1v1 I kind of sit back and I wait. So I can't sit back.
You
and
can't
wait
do that, or
because
else
I get hit with a fucking rock.
You get punished.
And it makes me
hard.
it punishes you for that. So it's like, all right, everybody else is waiting to get in the fucking gulag showers. Get the shit over with. Yeah. Go fucking fight.
Yeah.
And then like the server thing makes sense because if fucking 50 people die right out the gate, then it's 50 people waiting in one shower thing to come back, and it takes so much time.
And the flag
split it up in servers makes so
the
much
flag
sense.
comes in after like 10 seconds, or like
it
is extremely short. So pretty much you're running straight to the middle, and if you happen to run right past each other, you have to double back to get in the center because the flags appear in like any second. So it's one of those things that the whole thing's like 10 seconds long, if that. Yeah. So it is quick.
The thing that throws me off too is whenever I'm going to push the guy in the showers, I can hear people walking up top too. So I can't distinguish the fucking footsteps. They're louder, but only if he's right on top of you.
And they also
somebody's running over here, but somebody's running up top. It's left and right.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
I think a good thing about it too is that if you do get put in a situation where you are the only person that has died, and no one else has died, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds, and if no one else gets killed and you're in the gulag by yourself, you get released for free.
It's a free release.
Yeah.
So if myself and Dustin both happen to die one day, I was sitting in there and timed out, and then it was just him, he timed out, and both of us were just free to go. So we're like the only 2 people in there.
Yeah.
Something like Roman gladiator sport. Like, I guess if you got nobody to fight, then I guess go back in the fucking game.
But that's good because it didn't match us against each other. That's how we know for a fact that you can't fight your own teammate.
I was going to say that this is something I haven't seen yet, but I was kind of worried about.
Yeah, it can't because we're in the same thing and our countdown both went on and it did not pair us.
At some point in time, I figured that's going to be a bug. At some point in time, I can kind of see it being a bug.
I can too, but the fact that it's not on release is nice.
Yeah,
and a good sign. Really good sign.
But trying to think what else kind of thing. We talked about a lot of the stuff that got really like leaked last week, but I mean it's just fun, man. It's like it's a blast.
I haven't won a single battle royale match yet, and I have not had fun any game.
So something you pointed out last night that I actually want to bring up.
No, I've not had fun like in any game I've ever played.
That's a double negative.
So it makes it a positive.
No.
A double negative is a positive.
Not necessarily.
Not in the English language. You can't use a double negative in a sentence. My wife's an English teacher.
Anyway. I've had fun at every game that I've played.
Even though you have
Even though I haven't lost.
Okay.
Or even though I haven't won. That better.
Yeah.
Now, question for you guys before... Well, I'll make my point first that I was going to say. Last night you brought up something. The visual aspect, there's 2 of them that are amazing, and then the third one that I just found out. The airplane, there is an entry scene where you and your 2 other teammates like get up out of the seat and walk to the back of the plane, which is a really cool like loading in feature. Never gets old. And then he pointed out that you can actually look at the back cabin of where the airplane's open, and you can see the 3 of you waiting to jump. And so when you jump, you actually see them like jump out of the plane.
Yeah.
And then if you do win, you want to go over this because you know the ending memorial.
Yeah, so when you do win a game, you see the smoke and you see a helicopter come flying in. It drops a rope down, a rappel rope, and then you and your 3 squad mates rappel up, and then at the same time it gives you like a credits list, almost like the end of a movie, and it says in memoriam, and it shows every player who died in the match that you just played in, which is pretty funny. And then it does a close-up shot of each individual person riding in the helicopter. So you have your character. Mm-hmm. It'll say your name, and he'll be sitting in the helicopter seat. Then I'll go to the next player and the next player, and then that's the end of the cutscene. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it's cutscene in the beginning, a cutscene whenever you go to the showers. It's a cutscene which you can skip the gulag showers cutscene. but it's cutscenes throughout, and that's what makes it, to me, makes
it feels
a lot more fun.
cinematic, yeah.
Because it feels cinematic. It's not just, I'm not jumping down to Fortnite and then dying and going back to lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, there's a cutscene, it makes you feel like it does that whole, like, Fortnite storyline thing.
Mm-hmm.
That there's, like, a storyline here, but you're not exactly sure what it is. I know it's a bit of a stretch, but it still makes it seem like there is.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you wonder, like, are they playing like a Hunger Games thing because there's a cutscene now and we, the helicopter came in and saved us. It kind of makes you feel like there's something more than just that battle royale.
Yeah, last week I said that I did not want the game to.
What are you doing?
I'm turning this around the right way.
Why?
Because it's backwards.
You're gonna make it turn off.
We still got a light. You can center it now, but that was gonna bug me. When we were watching the video, I was like, "This is so cinematic. Like, if it does not feel half as action packed as the scenes and everything that we had in the trailer, I was gonna be really upset." And then you realize that like half those scenes in the trailer are actual scenes from the game, and you're like, "Okay, this didn't only meet baseline needed expectations, but like superseded it, and it just feels so nice to play."
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm not a huge fan of certain battle royales. I can't play them too much, or I get drowned out on them. But this one, I don't mind playing anytime. I fucking love it.
It's fun, man. It's a blast. I'm having a great time with it. It's like I don't know. It's just got its own. It's just different. They went in a whole different direction. They didn't really try to copy anything. They didn't really try to They didn't start to steal anything. They just did their own thing. It works really well. If you played Blackout, which I did not like, you will still like this. It's so different than Blackout. Blackout felt so clunky and
they learned
shady.
from all their mistakes is what it feels like. Yeah. Like, they were like, we can't be just another battle royale.
We can't do this half-assed.
Yeah.
If we're going to make this game, it's got to be good, which it is.
I can definitely see this battle royale, like we talked about last week, and the speculations that I have was I didn't want, like I think how you said this was, we didn't want the game, when the next Call of Duty game comes out, we don't want this battle royale to die out, to have it keep going. So I feel like if they're doing seasons and stuff with the regular Modern Warfare multiplayer, and they have battle passes for that carries over into this battle royale, I can see it going past the next Call of Duty coming out too, and still continuing over and over again, and having new loot and new guns and all that stuff too. And I like that because I like this battle royale. I don't want it to die out when the next Call of Duty comes out.
Yeah, and since the map is literally a compilation of like all the other ground war maps
and some of the maps.
co-op maps, and
it's some of the old Modern Warfare original maps.
Yeah. And I don't know who designed this, but man, you've got to give them props, because when you're going from one side of the map to the other side of the map, it does not feel like you're going from, oh, here's a map we made, here's a ground war map, to another ground war map, to a co-op portion of the map.
There's shit in the middle to make it seem seamless, where it's not just cut off.
It's literally like you're driving through town, and it's like, oh, we're going over the bridge from west side of the town to the east side of the town. Like,
we're in the city now, we're in the country now.
Yeah, it's
military base.
It is so streamlined, and how it feels like when you travel. It's not like some games where you're running and it's like clear, this is one portion, this is the other, here's the obvious line. You have no idea where one stops and the other starts, because you can be like, oh, I'm in, so such and such a location, and then be like, oh wait, I'm also in this other thing, and just look one direction, look the other, and be like, I'm in two different maps without even having
it all kind of makes sense too. It's not like in Fallout, in Blackout, where you go from, there's one part of the map where you go from like this city, and then right next to it is like Nuketown, and it doesn't make sense. But in here, it's like all like the lumber yards and military bases and shit all around it, and then inside there's the city, and in parts of the city there's the supermarket that you fight in. There's other shit like that belongs in the city. And then it goes more towards like, all right, on the coastline there's the big fucking shipyard there, and it's very seamless. It doesn't it makes sense compared to like Blackout's map.
Where it was literally just pieces of the map. It was like it just
You run into it, you're like, oh shit, like we're going to another map, and then like it's not seamless. There's shit in the middle of all the stuff in Modern Warfare in Warzone that like there's cars and there's wrecked cars here and there's different pathways and there's new roads and shit that lead to the other maps, but it's so seamless. Like you said, you'll be driving and you don't even know it. Now you're all of a sudden in the next map.
Yeah.
And it's very seamless.
Yeah.
And I've also got to say that like the dam or whatever it is on the north side of the map is frozen. And then when you leave that, you don't even realize that you're leaving from a frozen area into like the rest of the rest of the map. Like it is so you don't notice it. It is so subtle in the changes. But the first time, well, it was like the 5th time I dropped there. I'm like, wait a minute, why is there snow here? I was like,
I didn't know
right here.
That makes sense.
But you get to walk on the water and everything until you get to the dam and get to like the rest, and eventually run into like stadium and everything else.
That's a nice find. I didn't realize that.
I went to the dam like once and I died immediately.
Well, I normally try to jump with someone else, and then it's like, no. It is so much better when you or I try to decide where we're going in that game. Apex, she'll never let me decide, which is fair. I have to concede that I like dropping into places where we're either gonna die or die.
It's always we don't ever come out of the situations where it's
we think we win, and then there's one more team that's like, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We'll kill 2 teams, and we're like, oh, good, we can loot. And it's just like around the corner, 3 people. We're loaded up, bitches.
Yeah, Apex is a different game. I would not, Call of Duty, I do not mind dropping into like hot areas.
No. Because it's right out the gate, you have a pistol.
And you don't have to find attachments. You just find a weapon. I could find a common weapon, but it's still a weapon.
And your health difference is never going to be more than 50.
Yeah.
You pick up an armor, you put in an extra armor.
Or you want to drop like the fucking Mirage ship on Apex, and then I gotta fight a dude that has a Peacekeeper and fucking gold armor, and I got a Mozambique.
Or, hey, you're lucky, you got a Mozambique.
And you're like,
I'm over there with a trap because I'm costing, just like, this is all I've got.
You're like, I got the Volt key. Oh shit, I'm dead.
Yeah, so. It makes sense. I can't see that game without a starting pistol, to be honest. It does not make sense to me.
Not gonna lie, they may take that away because it is so fun. I'm the kind of person I'll jump and immediately pull out my shoot and cut it for that like it'll propel pistol? You forward. But at the same time, it also gives you the ability to shoot someone. And if you land a couple headshots or like a headshot and a few body shots, that person drops from their parachute and just drops.
I like how it's a little bit more realistic too. You can't just jump out and free fly across the fucking map. You've got to use your parachute.
Yeah.
You've got to strategically use your parachute to get there.
Yeah.
But like it's slightly, you can't.
It's not like Apex where like
it is really
you can just
nice.
Fucking
I
fall
had one guy who was shooting behind me, and so I cut my parachute, I fell forward, and then brought it back out. Well, he already cut his, and he just flew like right past me, and it was just like headshot, and he did not get to pull his parachute back out. So you see his body just like fall backwards, and then straight down, and all of a sudden you see died of impact and the kill feed, and you're like, yeah, bitch, I wanted to see that kill cam just.
That's probably the point where I'm like, all right, I'm done for the day. Like, I'm getting shot out the air. Fuck this, dude.
Mate, I don't know what happens. Like, if you have a parachute, do you do you ease all the way back to the ground?
I think it cuts it automatically when you go down.
Okay, I think so. I don't know because I didn't land that shot. But your teammates, if you fall so high, there's still fall damage in this game.
Yeah.
You die of fall damage even though you're downed. So, it's pure satisfaction. I hope they don't take it away, but at the same time, I feel like eventually it's going to be a part of the map where if you pull your parachute, it's going to be like we're fighting in the air. If 2 of us want to have to like parachute to the next location, we're just going to have a gunfight before we even land.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like a mini gulag just in the air.
Gulag airspace.
Yeah, you guys want to talk about anything else? Or give any more thoughts on Warzone before we go over to Bloodshot?
I'm not gonna lie, I've only played actually Call of Duty since it came out for like an hour because when I
I
hop
haven't
on,
touched it.
I've only been doing it for
Challenge.
trying to level up my battle pass quicker.
But why you can get levels? I've leveled up so much shit playing this battle royale.
I play a lot of shoot the ship, so a lot of shipment and everything I get to.
You do high.
I
still,
I get like 15,000 XP.
Yeah, I've went up like 10 tiers. I've went like all the attack. Yeah, dude, just like.
If you make it a top 10 in plunder, it's like 12,000 XP, and then you get top 5 is damn near 15,000 XP.
Maybe what the thing
First
about it
place
is with the Warzone, it doesn't really give you like your progression in your battle pass like what it does in.
Yeah, it does because there's missions. The same missions that are in for multiplayer, there's Warzone missions.
Mm-hmm.
No, I see that, but what I mean like is at the end of each match, it goes the chunk and shows you where you've moved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that for the battle pass on Warzone.
No,
Like,
you have to go look at it.
Yeah, you have to click on it.
You have to manually go in,
Yeah,
and that's something that I don't do. So I don't know how much I have actually.
They should probably
progressed.
add that in, to be honest, where you can at the very end of that cutscene. Let's say you win in Warzone and you look at it and it shows all your XP. There should be like right after that, you can have the option to skip it or watch how far you've gotten in the battle pass.
I don't think it matters, honestly.
See, people
But,
like
I mean-
me, I didn't even.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I was progressing, but I don't know how much I've progressed.
I just know 'cause when I get out of a match, I know I leveled up because it'll have a little emblem above the thing, and I'll click on it, and then it'll show me that I've went up a level and what I've unlocked.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, as soon as we got this pod, I'm gonna hit the gym and I'll be fucking playing Warzone till 2 a.m. again.
It was 3 a.m. By the way. I was sitting there, I was like, dude, this motherfucker's not going to bed. I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't done this shit in a long time.
Again, it's fun, bro.
Were you still on after I got off?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I got off when you got off.
Daniel's
But yeah, transition over into Bloodshot movie review. Honestly, I mean, I do a lot of the, like, this we're talking about, but you read a lot of Bloodshot comics, so give us the rundown on the character.
Ray Garrison is, in the comics, I believe, is a hitman instead of just a soldier. But in the movie, he's not exactly a soldier, is he? Like
Here's the thing about that, okay? So they don't ever say what the fuck he is.
They say the army.
No.
They don't even say that.
They say the army donated his body.
But
They say the government.
That's fair.
no, they do say the army.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all that is part of the script. So
Yeah.
Fair point.
we don't
So,
really
yeah.
don't know
But
him
I'm saying,
in real
like-
life prior to this event. We don't know anything about him
That's
other
true.
than
Well, in the comics, you don't either. In the comics, it's less paced in the movie of finding out shit that he used to do.
okay.
But like it's honestly, the comic book version could use an update on like the way he looks. But because I love the fact that in the movie his chest glows, in the comic book that's just his symbol. It's just a red circle. Makes sense because he's part of the Rising Sun project. So like there's another Bloodshot, but he's from like the 41st century Japan.
Oh.
So he's like a Ronin type fucking character of Bloodshot. He's actually pretty dope. But so, going back to Ray Garrison, he, from what I understand, is not the first Bloodshot Initiative person. It was a whole different person who used to be a hitman. So I'm assuming that Ray Garrison was a hitman as well. And they take hitmen and they take them to bring them into like the Rising Sun Initiative, which is make them Bloodshot. So like in the movie, it was called Bloodshot Initiative, and there was a lot of like bringing in these characters that are really, really, really briefly seen in the comics. I forget where her actual name is, but the girl with the breather, right?
KT.
KT in the movie. I don't remember her actual name, but KT is just a scientist in one of the comic book runs. She's seen like very briefly. Like she's just there, like a medical person. Just it's keeping her alive, but she's not a very big important character to the genre.
Like she was in the movie.
when you go to the comics, he's a hitman. He's not fighting against these people. He doesn't have his memory, which is, I'm going to use the term comic accurate. He doesn't have his memory. He, from what I understand, didn't have a wife. Doesn't have any kids or anything like that. He was lied to by the people of the Rising Sun thing. I don't believe they put him through that whole circle of, scripts and killing people and whatever. They did use him as a hitman. It's very hard to follow in the comics because you'll read something for like 2 comics straight, and then on the 3rd comic it'll explain something back in the first one, and by then you're like, what the fuck happened in the first one? It's very confusing in the comics compared to the movie where it was really fluid. Like you find out pieces here and there, you're like, oh shit. But like in the comics, you're like, you find it out so late that it should tell you earlier instead of something else. It's very, to me, the comics have a lot of those corny jokes, a lot of the corny like taglines and shit like that. The one thing that really stuck out for me was that he is a really badass character. He really, when he first becomes Bloodshot, and I'm not trying to give away too much spoilers for the movie yet, but in the comic book when he becomes Bloodshot, he is balls to the wall like, alright, I'm sorry, you want to find out how much my body can take? Live fire exercise. It's the only way we're going to be able to do this. And he fucking leaves. And he goes after the first contract that he has. But I think Kenya from the movie is still a comic book accurate place that they do, like where a lot of Warzone shit is happening. And the first comic that you read, a fucking tank hits him. And he just fucking explodes. And then pulls himself back together and just keeps walking up to it. And to a point where he gets in the fucking tank and suicide missions into a fucking army of other tanks.
Okay, so go more in depth on like who he is as a character though. Like why is he in the Bloodshot Initiative? How did he get there?
Essentially, a lot of the movie got it correct. So he doesn't know how he got there. At the point I'm at in the comics, he doesn't know how he's got there. For the Rising Sun Initiative.
But did he die?
He did die. They brought him back with the nanobites. So that part is accurate. That's the part I like too. But in the comics, he is told that he is a hitman. And then he was told that he used to be ex-military. And then you find out that he's not ex-military. That he was just a hitman. So there was other Bloodshot initiatives. They plan on doing more Bloodshot initiatives. But he is the only one out of the... And when I say Bloodshot Initiative, I mean the Rising Sun Initiative in the comics. It's the same thing. And he's the only one who has had it work so well. Like they say in the movie. The first one we've actually successfully brought back and whatever. And I believe in the comics, he still has his blood. So it's not necessarily like the nanobites are his blood. They're just in his bloodstream. And that's fine. That's not a very big picky thing. But he's just... The comics to me could be written so much better. There's really corny shit that happens, and there's a lot of pulp fiction type stuff where it's like he has that badass ego that nobody can stop him in the comics, and in all reality, he can't be stopped in the comics. He's like Deadpool. That's one of the reasons why I have a problem with reading Deadpool comics is that there's no point of
real threat.
There's no real threat. But in the movies, there is. Like, technically in the comics, they could be using some EMPs, but I haven't seen one of them get blown up. And I think it's for the fact that, like, the Rising Sun Initiative is still a secret. So, nobody knows that it's nanobites. They just see him regenerating. So they're not going to be like, alright, pop an EMP. They haven't got to that point yet, if they ever do in the comics. But he's just an unstoppable fucking force, and that's why I have a problem reading it. Same reason why I have a problem reading Wolverine comics or anything like that, is there's no real threat. In the movie, there's a really big threat. And that's what makes it good. Like a good start-off movie. But I want to see this transition into, like, not exactly a full-blown, like, MCU type thing, but there's a lot of characters. Like, have the 41st Century Ronin guy come back like he does in the comics. He's from the future. He comes back. He's a really badass character.
Were the 2 henchmen guys, were those real characters? The blind guy and the guy with the robotic legs?
I think they are, but they're not. They have their own comics in the Valiant comic thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, they are, but in Valiant Comics, Bloodshot is one of their top read things, and they're like really below level.
But they're characters, though.
I believe they are characters. I haven't come across them. yet in the Bloodshot thing. In the comics, I haven't come across those two characters yet. I'm assuming because of how well they worked that either they were one built really well for this movie / universe thing, or they were brought out of a comic that Valiant Comics released. But I haven't seen them yet in the comics. I've seen KT, and if not mistaken, she may go by a different name because I didn't remember the name KT, and she was only like really briefly mentioned, and it was just her walking by carrying a lab coat shit with like the thing breathing up, and it was just that was it. So I think they're taking a more like we need better supporting characters, so taking the small characters out of the comics and trying to build them back up and bring it out to a whole universe.
But
thing.
That's something that I think there's so many comics out there that are like by smaller, you know, organizations that I feel like when they turn them into movies or shows like Umbrella Academy,
they work better.
You get people who are like, hey, I see what you're going here. Let us, improve.
Let's help you.
Let us help you. Like, this is what we do. This is what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
can we offer some? And
well, that's what I haven't read
the comics.
They've worked well with Valiant Comics to create a storyline as well. So it wasn't just the movie comes in and is like, all right, we're going to use yours. Can we buy your rights?
Isn't that the exact same thing that happened with Umbrella Academy? Because didn't the lead singer of Panic at the Disco write that?
Was it Panic at the Disco?
No, it wasn't Brendan Urie. It was
It was a main drummer, I think.
It was someone from Panic at the Disco, right?
No, I don't think it was Panic. I think, but it was another
mainstream rock band. He was a magician who wrote the comic, and then he gave it to
they pretty much were like, it's a good comic, but we
let us help you with
let us draw it for you.
Yeah.
Is how it started. It's like, hey, you've got the story. We can't use your stick figures. Let us, produce this and actually.
Dude, he drew the whole comic book of stick figures.
Yeah, and
Right.
and so they're like,
let
us publish this, and so they got to draw like an artist.
Yeah.
And then someone else was like, hey, you've got a great concept here. Let us make this a logical concept. Yeah. And then they improved it.
I feel like if it was going to be exactly like if they took what they had in the comics, and I've only read the 2020 run so far. Mm-hmm. I've not went back. I want to go back and read some. But if it feels like they've taken it and been like, okay, we've got to make some changes to make it movie worthy, because having a threat for the character to be able to die is it gives you that dramatic feeling. Mm-hmm. Like to me, I'm watching Deadpool, but I'm really there for the fucking laughs.
Yeah,
I'm not there for fucking story, but it just makes it so much harder for me to read. And for the fact that when you read Bloodshot, that motherfucker cannot die.
Yeah.
In the comics, he's just like Deadpool, except that he regenerates fast as fuck. They've cut his head off and it immediately fucking grows right back, and it's just nothing there.
That was one thing in the movie that felt a little off. Was when they first cut his hand, it took way too long for it to heal.
He's a lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance.
But that was the point I was going to get to. The fact that it takes slower at the very beginning is because these are like the initiate nanobots. So what happens is, it happens in the comics, same thing as it happens at the end, and I'll get to that point, but it's eventually like, they want to be able to control him still, so these are not the best robots they can be. It's that, I'm gonna go, without spoiling, I'm gonna say it's that open source code that they were using.
Okay.
And once they improve them, he can do it faster. And once his nanobots get used to repairing his physiology, they get faster and faster. In the comic books, they get faster and faster to be able to regenerate him. Like, he gets his arm cut off, and it takes, in the comic books, what seems like about 15 minutes for it to fully like grow back while he's fighting. You just see pieces come back and back and back and back and back to the point where it's his whole hand, and it feels like a 15-minute fight. And then like another issue later or something, we have like a hand or something, or lose like a full arm, and it just fucking immediately goes back. And about the same time, there's like Piccolo to regenerate arm. About that kind of speed. But they get faster and faster because they know his physiology and they learn his body, that they just keep improving themselves. That's one thing about Bloodshot, is that the nanobites always improve themselves no matter what happens to them. Like getting shot by the tank. It takes him a minute to regenerate, but now that they've been shot by a tank before, and he's been blown to fucking smithereens, and the nanobots learn from that, they can do it faster next time. they are constantly learning. They're not just little bites that know how to do it. They are constantly learning like AI.
So I got a question. How do you guys feel about Vin Diesel playing that part?
There were times where I was like, this is a great part for Vin Diesel, but then there were other times where you go and then just the way, more so his voice, where I'm like,
It would almost look like it was cracking.
It almost,
at the end. Like when he was trying to choke up and he was trying to be sad, like near the end, it was just like, it felt like he was hitting puberty. His voice wasn't working. It was like really.
Not even that. Like whenever he was going through it, there were just times where it was just so clearly like, this is Vin Diesel.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
It didn't feel like, hey, this is Bloodshot. There were times where he was talking, and for me, the whole time, I'm like, this is Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
And
I feel like so, I mean, me saying this, so like, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good movie.
Rotten Tomatoes did not.
But.
Or IMDb or anything like that. The reviews basically shit on this movie.
I'm not even surprised.
I mean, it's whatever. But, I mean, I don't think he makes the movie better or worse. He's just in it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you could have put other people in it, and it would have been the exact same movie.
Me too.
I'm not saying the movie was bad, because it wasn't. It was a good movie. But...
Like you said, there's points you can clearly see. It's like, alright, bro, this is fucking Toretto from fucking Fast.
He didn't pull, RDJ and, like, be like, oh, he's got to play this part.
Yeah.
Like, if they would have picked someone else, it would have been like, oh, they can do it. However, there is one person that people suggested that I don't think would have worked, is The Rock. And honestly, there are times where I'm like, I'm done with seeing The Rock and everything.
I'm done with seeing The Rock. I'm done with seeing John Cena and things.
Okay, I'm not a huge John Cena fan in his movies.
Honestly, like a hot take here, I'm being honest with you guys, I'm kind of tired of seeing Ryan Reynolds and things.
Well, he's kind of toned it down, but there was a moment like a few
Ryan
years ago.
Fucking everything.
He's the same person in every movie.
Yeah.
He's like Jim Carrey. And I kind of feel like we got that with Vin Diesel. But Vin Diesel, at the same time, always plays just like a regular macho dude. So it kind of fits.
I will say that the fact that he's a very macho guy makes sense comic book accurate. Because he is a big fucking guy in the comics.
Yeah, but...
Like, he is fucking jacked.
But I kind of agree with Dustin. If they would have brought in, like, Sylvester Stallone to play the part, it would have been the same movie. Yeah. The character wouldn't have a single change because
I had an idea.
It's just a really muscular...
If they would have brought in, like, Jason Statham, same movie.
I had an idea this whole time, and I don't know why it was in my brain, but after reading the comics, and while I was watching the movie, I wanted to say Jeremy Renner so bad. Could play that part really well.
Statham?
It was just in my head of like how he could play it, and I was like Jeremy Renner or Stephen Amell. I can find them to be a Bloodshot character. Make quick, quirky little snaps, but then be back to serious, I can kick your ass type way.
Well, he wasn't really quirky. I feel like the comic relief came from another spot. Which I freaking love. There were only like four people in the theater, and I guess I'm the only person who thought some of those scenes were funny. And
I was laughing at Wiggins the whole time.
Dude,
Wiggins!
Oh my god! That dude's a phenomenal actor too.
Dude,
by the way,
because he was in.
If only I fucking had friends.
I know
Kobe.
him. I know him from New Girl.
Yeah.
He's a New Girl, and he's hilarious in that show. And
I've never seen it.
It's just sitcom.
Okay,
but it's just funny. But yeah, he was hilarious.
He played that part really good too.
Yeah, he was hysterical, bro. Well, before I jump into spoilers, you guys recommend people seeing this movie?
I do. It was really entertaining.
I do. This is one of those movies where, like, obviously it was a very small comic and not very many people know about it. After reading the comic a little bit, I'm definitely going to read more after the movie. But, like, watching the movie, I see this as one of my top superheroes.
I mean, I think anybody can go watch it. I mean, I had our buddy Chase come with us, and he didn't even know
Valiant Comics was a thing or anything like
or
that.
Bloodshot was even a character. Like I said, hey, I'm gonna watch Bloodshot. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, I literally said to him, it's a bro movie. You'll like it.
It was like
all I said.
it was like
I
Deadpool,
said-
Steven Spielberg style. That's the way I felt. It was like fucking explosions. There were fucking fight scenes and all that kind of shit like that.
And just serious.
And
honestly, I felt like the movie was just they found a great concept of a character that hasn't been like mainstreamed and was like.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You don't need to read the comics like I did, but you can fully understand.
He's similar to Deadpool in a concept.
Yeah.
Other than like the actual backstory, like their power is, but the backstory is like we don't actually have anything along these lines. And honestly, what I thought was going to be a plot twist when you watch the trailer, you're like, we already know what the plot's going to be. Like when we saw it the first time, we're like, we know for a fact that.
I still feel like they shouldn't have put that in the trailer.
Yeah.
I kind of agree because it took 30, 40 minutes to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But even though they did, it wasn't a main plot twist because like 5-10 minutes in, you already get that feeling that, hey, this is all being controlled.
So let's just go cut the spoiler talk, or the spoiler free talk right here. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you want to watch it, if you
Good
want to
entertaining movie.
listen.
Come back at us when you have a fight, whenever you see it.
All right, so yeah, he's being controlled the whole time. I 100% think that shouldn't have been in the trailer.
Really?
110.
Because
110.
they leaned. You could tell it was written to like that was supposed to be a big turn. Now there is the other shock that the wife is still alive.
Yeah. Or that it actually was the wife. But I thought that was going to be watching the trailer.
5 years.
Watching the trailer, I thought
Dude,
that was going to be
that
huge
was
plot
my
twist.
thing. Go ahead.
It was a big moment, but it was literally a moment.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's what I was wanting more out of when watching the trailer was like, what was that backstory? Like what actually happened, and not just hey, there's a 5-year gap between when I even saw you. Have I been doing this for 5 years?
Yeah.
And so that's
that was the thing that really got me with this movie is I didn't expect there to be a lot of not necessarily plot twists, but small plot twists. Like when he talks to the wife and he's like, I'm home and this and that, and she's like, I have a family. And you're like, oh, okay. And then she's like, in the matter of that span of him talking, it's been 5 years. Has he been doing this shit for 5 years? It's a small plot twist there. Small plot twist that she's not even with him anymore. There's small plot twists of like the fact I was so weirded out by like the first time he wakes up and the doctor comes in and then this lady who just seems like a bitch is just like pissed off for some reason. And then like you find out that like she doesn't want to keep doing this to him. So she's pissed off she has to do the script. And then when you go back and you think about it, you're like, damn, that's why she was pissed off in the very beginning. Yeah. She's not actually a bitch. She's just pissed off that she's doing this to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's stupid. It's small things like that bring the whole fucking story together. Yeah. Instead of it just being like it going the whole movie, and then at the very end it would have been like, oh, by the way, we're resetting you. We're doing this again.
But they didn't even try to hide it because his first target, that Turkish guy, he is obviously not
a murderer.
This dancing murderer. Like, he's in the car the whole time, and you're like, that's not the same guy. Those are bodyguards.
No, but it was insinuating.
He's a little
because I remember one of them saying, "Why do we have them dancing?" And it was to insinuate that he doesn't care about you or your wife. Like, he's doing this, he doesn't give a fuck about it. It's to put that vengeance point on Key and heighten it up. Because, like he said, in one of the last battles, when he was fucking mowing through everybody in that fucking house, and he was like, I don't see why we got him doing it. We could easily do this job. And he was like, do you see that man? That man is on a fucking mission. He will fucking die to get vengeance. That's why we have him, not you.
That
vengeance
scene,
part.
That whole dancing scene is just a trigger.
It's to piss him off more, the fact that he doesn't care. The man doesn't care about murdering your wife. He doesn't give a fuck.
I think it's the music, because that's how they trigger.
Yeah,
to bring back the memory. They play that song,
yep.
And then he gets that vision. So I think that's what it is. It's
That's
nothing.
fair.
It's nothing more
I think
than
the
a trigger.
dancing adds to the trigger. I can see that. That makes sense too.
But I mean, I still that was a big plot twist I shouldn't have put in the damn fucking trailer. But besides the fact, I don't really have any problem. I mean, honestly, my biggest problem with the movie, honest to God, is like the ending. It felt so shitty.
For it to end like that?
No.
Him just pretty much shutting down and then over.
I'm talking about the very, very end. When it's like, alright, cool, we brought you back. Oh, by the way, I fixed your stuff. Don't ask me how. And
Let's go.
Let's go.
And are we really driving off in the sunset?
Yeah, and I'm just like...
I like that part because it's a very Wiggins thing to do.
That is a Wiggins thing to do.
But I see what you're saying. There's no hook at the end to if they made a second movie that I'd be really excited to see it. There's no hook. And
if I'm being very specific, it's literally the fact that like, because the whole part of the movie is like he has to constantly recharge the nanas because they die or I don't know, they have to recharge them, so he has to get new ones.
Or they stop working. It's pretty much a battery, and that battery goes out, so you have to recharge it.
And he's just like, guess what? You don't ever got to get charged again.
Literally the whole point of
it's like, dude, you're not even gonna like.
No, I agree. They missed. But I don't think that was an ending as much as a climax. They failed the climax because that was supposed to be a big moment. Like, he's glowing red at this point. Like, that was supposed to be something, but they only literally have a 10-second reference to what the climax is, like, towards the beginning of the movie.
Fact that he's overclocking them. Like, he's like, this is bad. He's overclocking them so he can keep going, but he's losing it because he's doing it. In the comic books, he doesn't have to recharge them. So I feel like it's comic accurate, and it makes sense, and I see what they were doing. But from a movie standpoint,
it's stupid.
It makes more fucking sense to have to recharge them. And I loved that fact.
I think it's cool. I hate the way they resolved it.
But they
just said, hey, it's resolved.
No more!
That's it. Don't ask me questions about it. I'm not going to explain it. I just fixed it.
I mean, it kind of doesn't explain it. It was open source code, and that's how he was able to fix it, is the fact that he took the nanobites, and as they were heating up, that was them using energy, so he took the heat to...
If you dig into it, yes, but I'm saying the way it was delivered.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Because, he literally... It's like, he wakes up, he's like, hey, man, what's up?
You know all those problems you had?
Guess what?
They're literally gone.
Yeah.
That's literally the conversation that they had.
And then he leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, we're driving off in the sunset. That was literally the whole last scene.
That you did that perfectly. Yeah. It's like, I'm just like, okay.
Did you like
I thought
her,
the same thing, too.
Did you like her character? Did you like KT?
Yeah, I liked her character.
I really found her character to be really fucking interesting. That the fact that, like, I not necessarily would want a whole movie with her, but if they were to do a backstory-ish movie like this again on her to build, like, the franchise universe,
if they do a second one, I would hope she's like a sidekick character.
True. I love the fact that, like, she started smoking, and I was like, how the fuck is she doing that? And then, like, he just starts choking, and I was like, oh, she's immune to this shit.
It's poison.
I forgot about that. Yeah, like, it there were certain things that kept drawing me back in, and I never got dull with the movie. There was not a point where I was like, man, this is kind of stupid. No. But then it kind of reties back into other things that happened before, or things that will happen, and I was like, all right, it was a very small, like, Inception-like movie where things were happening back and forth.
I think they did a good job with the fact of, like, because I think a lot of...
I'll be right back. I need to step out for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. You look at me with such concern on your face.
Oh, there might be.
But yeah.
Okay. Anyway, what was I saying?
I love the fact that what you're saying because of the fact that it makes more sense movie wise.
What did I just say?
I don't know. I was bringing it back to the point of, like,
I was in the middle of a thought.
It was something about KT, wasn't it?
Damn it, Justin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, keep talking while
it was
I'm trying to remember what the hell I was talking about.
So I want to go back to the point with the nanobites. I feel like it makes more sense with the movie production because not only can EMP stop him, but he has other things. I brought up KT because I said if you like her character, you'd like to see her as a sidekick type character, and the fact that she blew his smoke in his face kind of reties back in that she's immune to all
that's what okay. Okay. I think a lot of movies have trouble with because it's not always the main villain is always an equal match for the hero, right?
Yeah.
So I think it handled the way that they like offed the bad guy. They blew him up. He like kind of sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's kind of like you can't have this big or you can't have this big like climatic, fight.
Yeah, with no pressure.
Because he would just beat the shit out of that guy.
That's how comic books are. And that's why I don't necessarily like reading them.
I feel like the
gives it
drama. I felt like the ending of how they handled like how he was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Was well done.
Yeah.
Instead of him just because I mean if he'd have punched him, he would have killed him.
Literally, if they make it in the movie, there's no other pressure to him dying than them using EMP. You know what I mean? Like now it's just an EMP thing. When before, he had a couple of weaknesses. He had the fact that he had to charge them. If he would have said he made it easier for them to charge, or he didn't have to reset the nanobites, he could just charge the one that was in him, instead of them taking them out and putting new ones in, that he could charge them a different way, instead of having to get them redone through that process, they would charge faster or something. There's other ways to do that instead of just giving him full immunity to fucking charging.
I think my Vin Diesel problem, too, is the fact that, like, because, I mean, I've never read a Bloodshot comic, but I know what he looks like. He's gray, he's
no shirt.
He's got doesn't he have a dot on his forehead? Or no?
No.
What's on his chest?
The circles here. Yeah. He has the red eyes.
Does he have hair?
Yeah, he's got the
black hair.
Old school like commando fade.
It's black, right?
Yeah,
It's black.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they didn't do that with him at all, except at the very end. And I'm just like, why not?
Me,
why not just make him look like
To me, I liked it more because it was like an
much,
origin story.
It's just too Vin Diesel though. I mean, in the second one, I guess the second one though. I mean, they could have done something cool like, hey, guess what? I fixed your problem with your nanobites, but guess what? You fucking got red eyes and gray skin.
Ooh,
like.
You have to stay that way, like he did. That would have been fucking great.
So, but they don't, and he just looks like Vin Diesel. Like he looks like.
That's dude.
He's just Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel's not playing a character. Vin Diesel's playing Vin Diesel
with
the abilities.
So
of a character.
I think comic book accurate.
That's like saying Batman. Like, hey, listen, we're in a Batman movie. You're gonna be called Batman, but you're not gonna wear a cape or a mask.
You're gonna be Bruce Wayne.
You're gonna be Bruce Wayne beating people up. Who's gonna be dude?
But you're Batman.
But you're only gonna wear all black, and no one's gonna know who you are.
So
a better idea is I believe the way that I'm understanding it in the comics is he overclocked the nanobites, and because the blood pigmentation changed, it changed his skin color to gray. So him overclocking them and they started turning gray, I liked that idea. But if I go with the Vin Diesel part because he's just Vin Diesel at that point. But when he starts changing the skin color, has the fucking glowing chest, which I love more than the fucking just circle.
Yeah.
The fact that it glows and you can see like rib cage and shit like that. I love that idea. And like you said, I 110% back that up. If they would have said, we fix your problem, but you're gray.
Yeah.
So I mean,
like,
it kind of outweighs it.
But I mean, I don't know.
I would have loved that.
My big thing about movies that have source material is the visual aspect. Like, I can't stand, like, it just drives me up a wall when you say, like, we're having a comic book movie. I'm like, alright, cool. No costumes. And I'm like, then why the fuck are you making it? Like, just make a different movie. Like, at this point, like, you could have literally...
The only costumes were the villains. Those two villains.
This, honestly, like, if you would have taken the name Bloodshot off and you would have fucking said, this is Terminator 7... like, who would fucking argue that?
No one.
Okay then.
Other than
because he doesn't look like the
other than he doesn't have like weapons. He doesn't use weapons.
2-minute script. That part, I really wish he would have had more weapons.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because he walks around with what looks like a comic like M16 with a 203 launcher on the bottom and has the fucking dual pistols. When he walked up to that car and was dual pissed and just back and forth, I was like, that's fucking Bloodshot.
That's a Bloodshot.
Not, I'm gonna take this fucking knife and slit your throat and then move over to you. I was like, nah, that's a little bit too like D&D roguish. This isn't fucking Bloodshot. He's got the fucking dual pistols.
Did you feel like they did? I feel like at the end, I feel like the slow motion action scenes got a little repetitive.
I think I've done too much.
I think there's a little too much. I was like,
if that scene of him walking
like
out,
like
it wasn't a problem. It was just like they did it so much that I forwardly started to notice.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, here's another slow motion scene. And when that happens, it breaks like the immersion of you watching the film, and I'm like, I felt they did a little too much. Because like, I'm like, oh, here's another slow motion scene.
If they would have just done that one in the tunnel, right, with a whole bunch of guys, because I feel like that should be a slow motion scene because there's a bunch of guys and he's take them out at one time. That's a good slow motion scene.
Yeah.
They would have stopped after that. And at the very end would have done him walking up
with the
all gray.
And I mean,
that would have been enough.
I don't know why films don't do this, but they don't ever do things in fast. Like there's the scene in The Dark Knight Rises, when Batman's fighting Bane on the steps of the city hall. There's a quick thing where he like shoves Batman against the wall, and he starts punching him in the body. And he does it like almost like superhumanly fast. Like it's it's really fast. That's and I've always thought that scene was a really cool fight scene, and that never happens. Like it's either like normal
speed
or slow motion. It's never like quick fucking like, you know what I'm saying, some karate shit.
Unless it's anime, and that's one thing.
Unless it's anime, unless in anime they go so fast where like you can't see what's going on.
No, you just see like Dragon Ball just.
But no, I agree.
All around the fucking sky.
I agree that it felt like it was used a lot, but at the same time, I feel like some of it, like all of it, was almost necessary. But they probably could have changed how it was done. Like if instead of speeding it up or anything, they actually did like a slow to quick motion where you like do a freeze and then a quick speed.
That's what they did in the tunnel. In the tunnel, that's what they did. Where he would go to this person, he grabbed the knife off of him, and then slowly,
like slow motion,
and then he would move to the other guy, hit this guy,
to the next guy.
And then move to those. I feel like are great.
That was cool.
I like that. Cool. Those are great. Don't give me that whole thing. He has to fight all 10 of them people in one slow motion thing. I don't want to see just constantly slow going back and forth. At that point, I'm just like, it gets kind of boring. I'll be bored halfway through that fight. I don't think I've seen probably but one, two in John Wick that are slow motion.
Well, no, they're not. There's no
and it's constant
there's no slow motion. Well, I think John Wick fight scenes are the best fight scenes in movies of all time.
Absolutely.
But it's because they're so authentic and they're all, it's real.
Choreographed.
Like what you're watching is like,
it's amazingly choreographed to
and it's all in real time. So it's like you get captivated. I think when you're watching that because it's real. Like you're like really watching these dudes fist fight. Like
my main point is that like if it's slow mo. Right, and I go into like, I don't know, stab you in the neck, and it's all slow-mo, I can see it coming, but like in John Wick, it's pal, shoot this person, shoot that person, you walk up to me, and you just, in the neck, and you're like, oh shit, like it catches you more.
Yeah.
In real time than it does to be like fucking slow-mo. Fast motion fight scenes, I'm not a fan of. I after, especially like you said, after watching John Wick, those are to me the most best choreographed fight scenes in real time.
I mean, you definitely don't do it like in fast, like *2 speed.
Yeah,
but you have people that can move like really fast. Like he can move he can move faster than the average person. Have him
do that. Yeah,
have him beat
don't
the shit.
Don't insinuate that in a fucking slow motion fight.
Like have him just fucking pummel some dude's face in. Throw like 10 punches about a second.
Am I the only person that kind of felt bad for the blind guy?
I felt bad for him.
I was hoping he would be like,
dude, I thought he was gonna turn. Well. I thought he was gonna turn, bro.
And then, like the whole time, I don't know why,
he
but
wasn't bad whatsoever.
No, he was. From the very beginning, he always just seemed like, hey, we're just doing this, like with no real understanding of exactly what was going on.
He even says he's like, oh, the first time that's time to bring him in, he's like, remember, he's one of us, and the douche guy's like.
But fuck that guy.
I wanted to
say fuck that guy.
I wanted him and
that guy's such a fucking doucher, dude.
If he had died on that fucking elevator, like he would have done, but he would have done it fucking Vin Diesel, like Bloodshot and him both fucking simultaneously doing like a great fucking combat move back and forth 2v1 in that guy, and he would have got like kicked off and died or something like that. That'd have been way better. I feel so fucking bad for him.
He's like, give me a hand. I fucking told you, hold on.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
you're fuck. I
He's like,
hope you.
sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
That dude,
It's like,
fuck that
damn,
guy, dude.
homie. Like, what if you lose this fight?
I felt bad. I was like, I know he's the bad guy, but I've never felt like he's been the bad guy this whole time.
No,
and then this is how he dies.
He feels like and this is how I felt about the character. I got honest. He feels like he is owed. He feels like he's owed to do this for the company that gave him his eyesight back.
You know what he is?
Yeah, almost.
He's the motherfucker that, like, accepts your invitation and doesn't want to be there, but he still shows up.
Just to make you happy.
And he's just kind of like, oh, we're doing a cake now? Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
it just, to me, he feels like he's owed that he got his eyesight back from his company, that he's willing to help this man. And then they say, go get Bloodshot, return him. He's like, all right, so they go to do it. And then you have this one guy like you. If me and you were going, I'm the blind guy, and you're just a fucking dick the whole time. Bro, I'm not going to like you. I'm going to be like, dude, remember, he's one of us. He used to be. And you're like, pretty sure he still is, but okay, dude, whatever. Sure.
I mean, the
fuck
guy with the
yourself.
robot legs, he was even cool. The blind guy was cool, bro.
Which one?
Especially when he put that helmet on.
Oh, the blind guy?
Yes, dude.
But I didn't get the helmet.
Because he's protecting his head. He doesn't see out of that head.
It's
It's like a radio thing he puts on, so he can speak, and he has a radio system, and it protects his head. His eyes are everywhere else.
Yeah.
I
get his eyes and everything
It's
else.
just cool.
Okay.
But he puts the helmet on, and like you said, it
I
protects
felt like
everything.
I felt like the helmet was so large when they put it on, it was supposed to be like more additional cameras, and I'm like,
What if it was?
I thought
Even if it wasn't. Listen, time out. Did he look fucking cool?
the helmet was pretty goddamn dope.
I thought it was pretty cool. I don't
Okay,
think
so
it was as cool as you guys are making it. It wasn't bad, but I think they could have done
Here's
some
my
cooler
point.
stuff with it.
Here's my point.
But
I wanted to put
you
it
know
back
what
on.
you know
for
what
the
the
second fight.
you know what the best part about that scene was the fucking helicopter cameras.
Yeah, that
Where he
allowed him
just
to
goes,
see multiple things. It was like a fucking mini map. You see them all kind of connect and make that little world thing. It was like a fucking mini map.
Yeah, he just, that's what I'm saying.
But
that's
the
why
thing
character was
is,
so cool.
go to like Mortal Kombat where you have like Kenshi, right? He's blind. Would you rather him have the blindfold on, make him look more badass, that he can't see? He's whooping your ass with a blindfold on? Or the fact that he just has these like ghost looking eyes that you can't see? I want the fucking blindfold. I want the helmet.
Yeah, the blind guy with the helmet on.
That can't see.
He's driving a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like,
To me, it's badass. I fucking loved it. Like you said, I want
not
to put
gonna
that
lie.
on for like last fight.
It would have been
Think.
awesome to have a fight scene where the guy's just like fucking deflecting everything and then like not even looking.
Yeah, and
he's just
they
standing there
played that.
deflecting things off to the side.
That was
him
another
and
thing I
everything.
loved is they played his character really well because he would never look eye to eye.
Oh,
Like
no,
when he turned to look, he would do this. When he heard somebody leave, when she walked out, he heard her leave. He didn't turn around and look with his chest cameras. He just kind of like heard her leave. And when he's talking to people, he talked, but he's like look
got
past
cameras
you,
everywhere. He's like,
and he looked past you, and he just kind of stand there and talk to you like this, and he would talk to you. Like it was played really well. There wasn't one moment where he locked eyes with another character. I don't think he did not go and look at you.
No,
if he was talking to you, you
more
heard
than
your voice
that,
coming from
more
this way,
than
he'd
that,
look
his
past you.
eyes never deferred from like an area,
Stationary.
so it
Yeah.
wasn't like there was movement that subtle glances.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Like
that,
he was at pure gloss eye the entire time.
yeah, I loved his character. The douchebag, no, fuck that guy.
Which
But-
we need a douchebag that we can say
Yeah,
fuck that guy.
yeah.
Nah,
But-
that guy was pretty fucking douche, dude. That guy was like abnormal, like.
But I think you had to do that for the reason of why do we need to fight these people and not just the head of the
I'm
company?
gonna go and I'm gonna look up that character and I'm gonna see if there's a reason why he's a douchebag. Like, is something like the spinal shit, or did something fuck him up to the point where he's just an over fucking?
No, what I think it is,
overrated dick?
he's just pissed off that
Bloodshot gets to go fucking.
Bloodshot has all the cool gadgets.
Shit, bro. Lay down the table. Let's wipe your fucking memory. Go ahead.
My job is literally just to press a button so you forget everything.
He feels inferior.
He feels inferior.
That's why he seems like a dick.
My job is to make sure you can do.
If I get
what
rid of
want to do
Bloodshot,
better.
Daddy's gonna let me go on a lot more missions. That's how he feels.
That's creepy.
I'm just saying, he's creepy. Am I wrong?
I mean,
He's creepy.
He's not creepy.
He's
a little psychotic.
a little
psychotic. It's better.
ba-ba-ba. Yeah, you guys got anything else?
No, all in all, I fucking
Final
love
thoughts
this
on
movie.
anything?
He's shaping up to be one of my favorite superheroes.
Yeah.
I fucking love him.
To me, Deadpool's still a...
What can I do for you?
Excuse me?
The iPad went off.
Okay.
No,
No,
seen that
so
iPad move.
for me, movie's good. It's entertaining, but the character just seems like a not as good version of Deadpool.
You want a good version of Deadpool?
I love Deadpool.
Go watch. Go read any fucking Deathstroke comic.
True. I
Fair enough.
want to say it to the point where like I want to give this movie probably about 8.75 out of 10.
Oof.
Mainly because he didn't have the skin color, other for that one small spot. Again, it was Vin Diesel. I wasn't necessarily happy, but I wasn't mad about that. He was just there. I feel like somebody else could have played way better. I want the fact that like he could still have to recharge his nanobites. That makes, if they come out with another movie, that makes it so Deadpool shit that I'm probably not gonna like the second, but I like the first, because I like the fact that that the hero can die and there's a risk. Whenever you take away that, the only thing he has is EMP. That's it.
Yeah.
And if I'm a random person and I don't know who you are as Bloodshot, I don't know you have fucking nanobites in your skin. I just see you rejuvenate. I just think I can shoot you enough and kill you. I don't know I need an EMP. Like, nobody in the next movie is going to use an EMP. And it makes it, there's no risk. Like, I guess the risk now is that he could lose KT.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I feel like 8.75 is a little harsh. I want to say 9. I think 9 out of 10. I like
That's
it.
still way too high.
No, I like it.
I mean, this
I feel like he's on a totally different grading scale.
Yeah, he definitely is. I would give this like a 7.
I'd say like 6.5, 7. Not that it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a movie that I'd recommend to go in and watch for entertainment.
It's
but
fun.
definitely could use some improvement in some areas.
It's fun. It's action packed. It's generic. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
And it's Vin Diesel.
Y'all gonna make me go home and write up a fucking scale. A scale for rated movies.
Why? What do you mean?
Because now I feel like I like it a little too much.
I mean, if you like it, you can like it.
My main, I guess the reason why I like it so much is the fact
Dude,
that I like that
fucking
character
love
so much.
BVS, bro, and everyone else fucking hates that movie.
I liked it,
So
but
I thought it was good. I think
I'm
around
just liking the
8.
character too much.
what?
BVS.
Oh, don't get me started, please. That's a whole other topic.
Whole other topic,
Whole other
whole other
episode.
day. I feel like I like the character too much to be like it's a shit movie.
That's
Because it
fine.
wasn't a shit
Yeah.
movie.
It was
like
not
the
a shit
character
movie. It
more.
wasn't a shit movie at all.
No.
It was good. It was fun.
I'm gonna stick with 9 out of 10 until.
Look, if you're
Until I
in the
look
mood,
up
if
some
you're in the
criteria.
mood, if you want to watch this, I mean, if you're in the mood for a nice, like you like, I want to watch a movie. You want to watch a good action movie.
Packed,
This is your movie.
slight superhero.
Yeah.
I loved it. So.
All right, wrap her up.
Well, it's been another episode of Operation CMG. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
What?
You can also email us at operationcmg1047@gmail.com. You can also follow us at operationcmg on Facebook and Twitter, or op_CMG on Instagram.
Over and out.